So 13 seconds, still a chance, but he's found his man, and Redmond pulls in a match-winning game-saving mark.
7 goals to Kennedy, the first to achieve it this year.
Instead it goes for McStay! And he can just about see this one off and see the Demons off as well.
Hello, I'm Damian Barrett and welcome to Access All Areas, brought to you by Sportsbet. One game remains in round 8, but of the completed matches, several were nail-biters. And Matthew Lloyd, there was also the official return of a powerhouse.
Yeah, the West Coast Eagles, Damon, they were absolutely awesome. And to think we're only 8 rounds in, but they looked absolutely shot, only probably 3 or 4 games into the season. But this, after half-time, you can see the score in the second quarter. They're down by 1 point, but after half-time, they just put an awesome display in. Josh Kennedy's kicked 7. Oscar Allen, who's one of the most improved players in the game, kicked 3. Waterman's kicked 2. Tim Kelly back to his best. Shuey looks sharp again. Gaff, Yo. So this was awesome. Back in front of their fans, Damo. They should be premiership favourites, you would have thought again.
It was a bit of old school footy, wasn't it? Just bringing the ball from one end of the ground to the other. The big forwards taking the marks. Dominance in the middle. You mentioned that man there, Oscar Allen, kicking the 3. He's emerging, isn't he, amongst those big 3 up there?
And I think what we shouldn't underestimate is, we'll talk about Nat Nui soon, but he hasn't won a premiership. Andrew Gaff hasn't won a premiership. Shepherd, who's starring at the moment, hasn't won a premiership. And Tim Kelly's been knocking on the door for a while. So 4 hungry players there who want to get part of it, which they missed 2 years ago.
On the fun-to-watch scale, Nick Naitanui is off the charts. He was yesterday, wasn't he, Lloyd? He dominated this game from the get-go.
And there's no slouch there, Brodie Grundy either. So, again, only 8 disposals, but it doesn't matter. I used to be hard on Naitanui for lack of disposals. But when you're doing this, his game yesterday was worth 35 disposals for what he did for everybody else. They could be so aggressive around the contest. That was just absolutely awesome. And they gave Cameron a chance late in the game, but it was like a man against a boy.
There's an artistry to what he does, isn't there? And I think your point, he hasn't got the premiership medallion that the others got in 2018. He's fit again, isn't he?
Yeah.
And clearly there's a commitment just to play him. If he's right to go, just play him.
And let's hope he gets a bit of luck, because late in seasons he often gets injured. And just on the Pies, I thought there was a tipping point yesterday. Side bottom, again, I'll reiterate how much he's hurt this team. Jeremy Howe. And then you've got DeGoey, and then Pendlebury pulls out in the warm-up. But I think there comes a tipping point. That's where Richmond are doing a pretty good job, because I thought it came yesterday with one too many good players out.
And you've been long worried about their the machinations in their forward line, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's right. Your defence can only stand up for so long, but you've got to put scoreboard pressure on, which unfortunately not many of those forwards are firing at Collingwood.
Eagles produced a season-high score yesterday, Lauder. You can see that by 1 point anyway, the season biggest score to this point. And that's the only times that 100 points has been reached in 2020.
Yeah, I can't see the Tigers doing it again anytime soon. The Giants aren't playing that well. You know, that was a long time ago. The Cats struggling a little bit. Port, that's against the Crows. So I think Carlton's was a good effort, but still they play an attacking brand of footy. And the Eagles, that was the most destructive performance I've seen for the season.
You mentioned before that they were moping around, weren't they, on the Gold Coast? They lost 3 in a row, but they got it together now with 4 in a row. They've got the Cats, the Blues, the Hawks upcoming. They're going to be up there again, aren't they?
They went from 10th to 4th just on the weekend. They picked up 14 percentage points, and I think they should be top 2 in about 3 weeks' time with the games they've got coming at home.
And how envious are you watching a game with a crowd in it?
Oh, it was so good to watch. It's brilliant. And I think, as I said, the Adelaide Crows haven't been able to make the most of it just for where they're at. But the Eagles, as I said, they're just riding on emotion now, being back in their own beds and in front of a big crowd. Can't see them losing in the next month of footy.
The Lions' win over the Demons was a scrap, but sometimes you've just got to do enough to get the win. That's what they did. There were a few nervous moments for them, and we'll delve through a few of these passages of play as we talk about this game, Lauder.
They had all the momentum late in this game, Damo, and just obviously a few moments like that. He tried to be aggressive, young Pickett, but that was a sling tackle. Then this was a massive moment. Lachie Neale kicks it. It was a mark. The umpire knew it was a mark. We'll get through down the ground vision later on about what could have cost Melbourne with all the momentum they had because the ball had to go back and Lever had to have that from a mark. So that was huge.
So you can see the score review chat. We might as well have this chat right now, Lordo, as we also have a look at what they also made a mistake of before we do.
Yeah.
This is Bailey Fridge. So you can see the time, you can see the margin. Just give the ball back at the time you need to give it back. If it means you're loose down the field, well, so what? Because what he did there by carrying on, being a smart alec, has cost them a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, and they also miss so many opportunities, which we'll also watch very shortly. But they just make hard work of things, Melbourne, when they don't need to. And this was the end of it. This had to come to ground from McDonald. Couldn't bring it to ground. He just chewed up the 30 seconds and then it was game over.
Yep. Let's have a forensic look, an AFL.com.au exclusive vision look down the ground of this moment where Jake Lever took this Lachie Neale ball. Now, he knew it was a marketing play. Now, Melbourne was set up here, Lordo. Take us through. We're going to freeze it right now. We're going to highlight the Melbourne options. The player below that circled on the right there Jones, is the Melbourne player with the ball. Yeah,
Nathan Jones, he's ready to create the overlap. So if what happens is there's overlap to Nathan Jones, he takes the space, creates the other player on the left-hand side of those two just ahead where he gets the ball over the top. And they've probably got a zigzag situation going where they can run further afield and there's a 2-on-1 up the field. So some may say Brisbane are okay set up there, but I reckon they're in trouble in a sense and anything could have happened in that play. What frustrates me is the goal umpire said it's a mark. If he felt it was a point, yes.
Yeah.
Go to the arc or whatever you want to do.
You've got to back your judgment at that point.
You've got to back your judgment. Lever knew clear was a mark. The goal umpire knew it was a mark. So I'm really disappointed for Melbourne in that. As Goodwin said, it didn't cost them the game, but still they should have been able to play out that play.
And just to back over what you've highlighted there, the overlap player had been created. That would have given them the chance to bring it forward.
You do. It just creates chaos when you see run overlap players. Nathan Jones would have charged at the Brisbane player in front of him. Someone comes from the side, someone goes over the top, and you're inside forward 50. They never got the chance to do that.
I thought Simon Goodwin, the coach, handled himself really well post-match when he didn't blame that goal umpiring issue for the loss, and he did also concede that his team had several chances. We'll just take a look at a few of those moments, Lordo. Wiedemann, who you see here missing this, and another one in a few moments' time.
Yeah, he had the yips yesterday, Wiedemann. Langdon's a poor kick, and he should have kicked that. Hasn't kicked the goal this year. He's kicked 4 points. This one, you've got to give that handball. But a young boy didn't want to give it. Langdon was over the top, puts his hand up. It's too late to put your hand up. And Harley Bennell, he's lacking a bit of speed. That one wasn't, he missed an earlier one where I think his speed concerns him, and then Wiedemann again. So 7 goals they kicked for the game. I know Brisbane missed some opportunities too, but I thought last week was a turning point because they were so damaging against Hawthorn, but they were back to the old Melbourne where they're playing really well, but they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot. And they play Port Adelaide this week. I know they've got a game in hand, but I think if they lose this game this week, they can't play finals. They'll be 10 points out with a game in hand. It's too much.
It's a shame because their best is good enough, isn't it?
It is, and that's right. Just that front 50 stuff just continues to hurt them.
A bit like the Lions, the Bombers just did enough to get the win, and sometimes in a weird season, that's all you need to do. They were solid late against the Crows, Lordo, weren't they? A couple of their key defenders stood up.
Yeah, I thought it was a game. It looked like a bottom 6, game of football. Essendon, with all their outs, McKenna just made some bad errors, and Adelaide just weren't good enough to hurt them, in this game of football. But I think with no Hooker, Heppel, Stringer, Fantasia, Dylan Shield, they just had to go there and win this game of football. They get Dylan Shield back this week. They play Brisbane, which is going to be difficult, but it was a win they just had to get. But they didn't play that well, Damo, to be honest. It was a game of 2 bottom teams going at it. Good mark here.
But you want your leaders like Kelly taking that mark.
And just on that, Merritt was a star. This good by Redmond. I thought McGrath dominated, and Jordan Ridley just goes from strength to strength. So there were some real positives out of it for the Bombers as well.
Well, it is difficult to get a read on the 2020 chances of the Bombers. And to help us all, let's go to Nathan Brown of Sportsbet.
Yeah, definitely money for the Bombers earlier on in the season, but friendless at the moment. In contrast to that, it's all about the West Coast Eagles overnight. Truckload of money coming in for them after their big win against the Magpies. Nat Newey in form, Tim Kelly flying, and Josh Kennedy kicking 7. A lot of games at home. It is all about the West Coast Eagles. Richmond dropped off a little bit. Form, injury concerns. The same with Port Adelaide. The value still looks to be the Bulldogs if they can string it all together with some consistency. Brownlow medal time. Lachie Neale, the outright favourite. It's his to lose at the moment. 33 disposals on the weekend. Very hard to back against here. Lachie Neale. Petrarca started like a house on fire. Tapered off a bit. Probably voted though. Now, all the movement has been around the Coleman medal. Josh Kennedy was $7 last week. kick the big bag of 7, and he's into favouritism. I'd still love to see Tom Papley win it. I'd love to see a small man's Coleman. But if you want to have a bet on any of that, please gamble responsibly. But I tell you what, Lordo, you've won 3. Big Josh Kennedy's coming for 3 to equal you, big boy.
Didn't think about that. Maybe I don't want Kennedy to win either. But no, only joking. I want to see a big man win.
Surely you want to see a big man win.
I do, yeah. And Josh Kennedy, I absolutely love Josh Kennedy. He just goes under the radar, doesn't like any attention, but just gets the job done continually.
Well, the smaller man is challenging, as we just saw and as we've seen this year. Tom Papley, the most influential player on the ground in the Swans win against the Hawks, kicked 4, ruffled feathers. I thought it was a good win by the Swans.
Yeah, it was a good win because of the team that they've got. Kane Corn spoke over the weekend. They weren't entitled to win that game of football with the team they had against Hawthorn side, yet I think they're playing a different way the last 2 weeks. They're actually playing a bit bolder football, and I think John Longmire's taken the chance to, he might not win many games, but try a bit more aggressive ball movement and play the kids, and they're going to reap rewards for it next year.
Are they doing what Hawthorn needs to do?
I think so, Damo. And I heard Clarko's language change a little bit over the weekend by saying we've got to play youth. And let's take a look at some of the senior players at Hawthorn who are under pressure at their football club. These are the Hawks out of contract veterans. And I think, I'd only go with Stratton.
So there's 6 names there?
Yeah, I'd only go with Stratton and Smith next year. So I think, Burgoyne's come to the end. Piopolo, he's in the seconds already. I think Frawley, if you keep Frawley and Henderson on your list, what happens is you play them and you don't put games into Mitch Lewis and those type of players. I'd try Mitch Lewis at centre-half-back or full-back, whereas if you've got Frawley on your list, you don't play them in that situation. Some will ask, where's Scully, where's McAvoy? They've got a year left on their contract. So there's already some veterans there, plus Stratton, who's struggling as well.
There might be a conversation around Stratton. I know what you're saying about him, but given his preparedness to move on some iconic figures in that football club, it's not going to be a stretch for him to have that same conversation with his current captain.
Oh, I think with the salary cap, though, coming down, you don't want to be paying out players in the next 12 months. So that's where I reckon he could hang on.
Yeah, Dane Rampi was really good, wasn't he? I mean, he has been for a number of years now, and he did most of this game with a really badly damaged hand, which is still yet to get an official diagnosis as we speak today. But they love him at the Swans, Lordo, and you can just see why when he's on song.
He plays the same way all the time. He plays with energy. He plays with aggression. 25 disposals he had, Rampi, and what I love about him, he's playing with a bunch of kids. So it's not as if he's playing with a heap of veterans like he was probably in the early part of his career. So I love players who play well in bottom end sides.
Look at this here where he's got that damaged hand and he's still got enough composure to use his good hand to stop it at a key time.
Yeah, you can see why he's the captain, one of the captains of the club because of the efforts on the weekend.
I think you said this yesterday, I agree with you. The Saints could be top of the ladder. They could be 7-1. They're currently 5-3. They've lost 2 matches when they were 5 goals and 6 goals up respectively against North Melbourne and Freo, who are both down the bottom of the ladder. But we see what they did in the final quarter against the then top of the ladder team, Port Adelaide, to know that this team is real.
Says a lot about their maturity. Last quarter, games on the line, 1 point in it, 5 goals straight to 2 behinds against the top of the table, Port Adelaide. They believe now. And it's not the fast-paced stuff we saw earlier in the year and cost them games because they were trying to play that way. They toughed it out. I heard Rowan Marshall yesterday say, we just wanted to get the ball inside 30 and let our smalls go to work. And they outworked Port in that last quarter, got the points. And it's not Seb Ross in the past years, Jack Stephen, Armitage, just dour players just trying to put pressure. I don't think they lack for too much. Strong forward line, strong midfield now, pace on the outside and then a good defence. So, as I said, I think they can win a final this year. That should be their aim.
I was about to ask you, so if you're a Saints supporter, are you allowed to now dream?
I think they should be dreaming of winning a final. I think it's too hard to come from nowhere to go on and win one.
So we rule out a premiership?
I think so, but the experience they will get of being there, winning a final, I don't think they're ready to win it, but I think they're ready to win a final.
Yeah, OK. Yeah. We've already talked about a couple of teams just doing enough to get the win. The Blues did that against North Melbourne, and while North is a lowly team in 2020, you've just got to grind it out sometimes, Lordo. They did so. I thought they were probably better than the scoreboard looked.
Yeah, I think they're maturing. They 5 goals to nothing in the first quarter, 5 to 1, in the first quarter. Then they didn't play that well, but they still won the game of footy. And Cripps, he was manhandled, and I think that's a chat for another day. I think Carlton might send the vision of Patrick Cripps to the AFL and say this is not on with what Jed Anderson did to him. But Sam Walsh, Kennedy, Setterfield, Nunes, just players chipping in now, which they didn't in the past, and they're winning games of football. They've got Hawthorn this week. Yep. They'll remain in the 8. Cunningham, another player who's stepping up, playing better footy than he has before.
Is what is happening to Cripps over and above what's happening to other key midfielders?
Maybe not, Damo, but I think that it's happening. I watched that game closely and I thought it was over the top. And there was one bit of vision where he was thrown to the ground. Yeah. There was nothing for him. Lockie Neal copped it again the week before. So I think he's another one that's just copping it and going about his business. But I think, I'd put a tape together because it gets you a few free kicks the week after because the umpires need to see that what's happening to Cripps. He has a smile on his face.
They're playing Hawthorn, Lord. Alistair Clarkson doesn't like...
No, I know, but I think it's something that needs to be happening because he's being hindered too much.
Yeah, OK. Yeah. The Giants got their season back on track with a win early in the round against Richmond. It was a good performance, but Taranto returning's been huge, and Toby Green won the game with 5 goals. Yeah,
won the clearances, which was a great start because they've been losing those. Josh Kelly, much better this week. We see Sam Jacobs. He came in for Mumford. So they've just got that revolving door. Mumford, Jacobs, Mumford. What do they do? He was pretty good on the weekend. They can't turn them into inside 50, so that's their issue. And this is the talking point. Sauce or Snags? Who do you go with? Jacobs on numbers is doing better. He gets more hit-outs to advantage. They get more clearances for it. The Giants, have won the clearances only once of the 4 games Mumford has played. But I don't think Jacobs can handle guys like Grundy, those big monster-type players. So
are they like Geelong when it comes to their rucking situation? Yeah. They just don't have a reliable one and are in trouble because of it?
Yeah, that's right. It's horses for courses, and I don't think they can win a premiership because of their ruck situation at the GWS.
So they don't win the 2020 flag?
Line through them because of their issues in the ruck,
Wow. OK. Do you put a line through Richmond just yet? You probably don't. Tom Lynch, though, and Jack Riewoldt are struggling.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I just want to make the point out, Ben Brown has been under siege this year, one of the most talked about players, yet he's pretty much done the same as Jack Riewoldt, and the ball has gone to Tom Lynch 60 times inside forward 50, Ben Brown 53 times, yet Lynch has just kicked the 11 goals. So I think both teams aren't using the ball that much well inside forward 50, but because they've won games, they're not copying the attention. But I think they should, because I think if Lynch and Riewoldt were going better, Richmond win that game of football on the weekend, but they couldn't have any impact on the game. The amount of ball that they had 14 more inside 50s than the Giants on the weekend. Yeah. I reckon in past years, Lynch or Riewoldt would have made something happen. They couldn't on the weekend.
Is it now a worry for them for 2020?
I think so. I just reckon, I look at, say, for example, at Josh Kennedy. He's not quick, but he hammers his players off the ball to give him that meterage. I don't think Jack Riewoldt or Lynch are doing enough of that to get some yardage and get some space to impact the game at the moment.
Let's go back to the first game of round 8. Caleb Daniel of the Bulldogs, Lord, he's putting together some sort of season, isn't he?
He's that good by foot and he's that good a decision maker, never panics. That I think we're getting to Doherty territory where Doherty got tagged by Pittard on the weekend and he got tagged by the captain, Jaron Geary, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think he's got to a point where sit someone on him. They haven't done it yet.
Right.
And the positive for the Dogs is they've got Crozier in good form and Jason Johannisen in good form. So at least...
So you're going to sit on the smallest person in their league?
Oh, I think so. I thought
what a great story that is.
When he went there, they thought he'll be exposed. No one can expose him, and he's hurting everyone else, so time has to go into him.
Yep. We work with a Corns, don't we? Kane Corns, but he's not physically imposing like his brother Chad, who was a runner for the power team on the weekend, Lord. And like a lot of people in the crowd supporting Port Adelaide, was not happy with that deliberate out of bounds on the Hoff.
And he thought he was a championship wrestler or something here. Look at the body shape on him.
Look at the arm.
Oh, look at the passion he's got for his team. He was not happy, but I think that's the entree into something else we discovered over the weekend.
Yeah, we did. We'll go back 14 years as we look at this. This is an Eagles supporter yesterday, not happy with the umpires, and you can see the passion in his voice, but the Mickey O situation, the now famous still shot of Mickey O kicking that goal in the 2006 final series. Just wait for the little head that bobs into this frame in a moment, Lotto. Wait for it, wait.
Unbelievable. His hair colour's changed a little bit, this fella, and he's aged 14 years on. But he's blown up yesterday just like he did 14 years ago. That is a great spot from our team at AFL.
It is. Well picked up by Jack Haley there. And thanks as always, Lotto, on Access All Areas. And thanks for watching Access All Areas. We'll be back, as always, next Monday.